Hello, home bosses. Have you noticed how many AI tools seem to be appearing lately? ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Midjourney, Leonardo, Ideogram, NotebookLM, Sora. It's starting to feel like every week there's something new, and I often see people asking the same question. Which AI tool should I actually be using? So in this video, I want to share something a little different. I'm not going to tell you which AI is the best. Instead, I want to show you the AI tools I personally use, what they're good at, and how they can help you if you're creating books or running an online business. Because the truth is, each tool has its own strengths. And once you understand that, everything becomes much simpler. So before we look at the tools themselves, it helps to understand what's happening right now in the AI world. AI platforms are starting to work a little bit like toolboxes. Instead of one system trying to do everything perfectly, we now have different tools that are each very good at specific things. For example, some AI tools are excellent for writing, like emails or ad copy. Some are better at research. Some are amazing for images, and some are even starting to generate really astounding video. So rather than looking for one perfect tool, many creators now use a small combination of tools depending on what they want them to do. And that's exactly how I work as well. So here are the tools I use. The first group of tools I use are for thinking, planning, and writing. These are the ones that help when you're staring at a blank page. So they're mainly ChatGPT. ChatGPT is probably the tool I use the most, and that is the AI that I used to start with. So I'm kind of attached to ChatGPT. It's become like my best friend. I tell it everything, and it's fantastic for brainstorming ideas, for outlining books, solving problems, and structuring content. And when I'm trying to figure out what direction a project should take, this is often where I start. And it's also quite good at generating simple images that I use for social media. So now there are many other ones. So it started with ChatGPT, but a lot of other AIs have appeared and I've tried them. And the other one I'm using a lot now is Claude. Claude is another AI assistant that is particularly good when you're working with longer pieces of text. So, for example, for analyzing documents, for refining writing, and working with larger pieces of content like ads copy or social media text. Sometimes I'll use Claude to review something that I've written and help improve the clarity. Claude also has other capabilities that I'm exploring, like the artifacts feature that allows it to create code, websites, or documents in a side window. So Claude for me is like the grown-up of AIs. I don't know why, but it just seems that way. It's very specific in its responses, and I really like it for certain things. And then there is Gemini. Gemini is Google's AI assistant, and it's also very good for brainstorming and research. What is interesting is that Google is building Gemini as a multi-modal AI, meaning it can work with text, images, and other types of content together. So it's another useful thinking partner, but it's also a great little image generator with its Nano banana image creation tool, perfect for social media and even some book interiors. And one of my favorites right now is NotebookLM. This one really surprised me when I first discovered it. And what makes it different is that you can upload sources like documents, PDFs, articles, transcripts, and notes, and then it analyzes all of that information together. So it becomes like a research assistant on steroids. And I created another video about this, which I will link after this one. For anyone writing a book or researching a subject or creating courses, it's incredibly useful. And another area where AI has become incredibly powerful is image generation. There are several tools I like to use depending on the type of image that I need. Midjourney is still one of the best tools for creating artistic images and illustrations. If you want something that looks creative, stylized, or imaginative, expensive, Midjourney does a beautiful job, and for me, it's still the best one when it comes to the quality of the images. But there's also Ideogram, and Ideogram is particularly good when your image needs to include text. Many AI image tools struggle with text inside images, but Ideogram handles it surprisingly well, and that makes it very useful for things like covers, posters, and design concepts. Something interesting is also happening with image tools right now. Platforms like Leonardo are starting to offer multiple AI models inside one platform. So instead of just one image generator, you can choose between several engines such as Flux, Nano Banana, GPT Image, and others. Each model has slightly different strengths, so platforms like Leonardo are becoming more like control panels for different AI engines. And this is one reason why the AI space is evolving so quickly at the moment. Another area that is growing very fast is video. Sora is an AI tool designed to generate video from text prompts, and this technology is still developing, but it's incredibly exciting to see where it might lead. Video creation is becoming easier and more accessible for creators. Personally, I use Sora for images, in particular icons that I use in social media, my websites, or to embellish planners and journals. It works really well for me because I needed to output consistent styles, and it's great at doing that. So when people see all these tools, they sometimes feel overwhelmed. But the truth is, you don't need to use everything. A simple setup might look like this: ideas and writing, ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini; NotebookLM for research; Midjourney, Ideogram, or Leonardo for images. I use Midjourney and Ideogram, and also Sora for icons. And that's more than enough to do some amazing things. Just try them and see which ones you like, which ones do you feel are getting what you're trying to do. And I really don't think there is a best one to choose. It simply depends on your own preferences. And the most important thing to remember is this: AI is not about replacing creativity. It's about supporting your creativity. These tools can help you think more clearly, explore ideas faster, and create things you might never have tried before. But the ideas, the direction, and the creativity still come from you. And once you get comfortable using even just one or two of these tools, they can become incredibly powerful partners in your creative process. So I'd love to hear from you. Which AI tools are you currently using? And have you discovered any interesting ones recently? Let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit different from my usual ones, but if this is something that you'd like to see more of, let me know in the comments. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.